It's the 12th of November, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. A large and very impactful system. A huge chance of rain for some of us, intense flooding in others, colder weather dropping in, all because of this big spin tied to a front, and then eventually the rain is going to progress from the west to the east. A lot to cover in this video, right? This is actually a named system. Sometimes that's just semantics. Some entities name things, some don't. But the issue is this. This is why I do this channel, the impacts. Look at this sucker just spinning around for days and days. So regardless if your entity does name it or not, this is going to be an impactful system as it works in. So I just want to get out the right information about this, where some cold air is going to be, the intense flooding is going to be, and how this progresses through the weekend into next week. I want to take you here. We'll zoom down here. We'll cover the rain totals, even some of the snow with this, as we watch this big impactful spin start to work in. It is going to be making its move now toward the Iberian Peninsula, and you saw it, how large it is. It's been sitting out there for days. Now, here's the biggest issue right off the bat to show you this, the intense rain. And this is what I covered in the last video, and this is exactly what's happening. This is what we're going to see. Madrid to the west, heavy rain totals of about 20 centimeters of rain. And the issue is, not only is that a lot, but that is on top of what we've already had in spots. That is high concern. So I do appreciate you sharing this information. Portugal, western sections of Spain, to get the word out. If you're in one of those flood zones, we are unfortunately going to see some areas, some homes, some businesses taking on water in a situation like this. There's going to be so much rain again as this system just works in. Then we lift to the north. This here is tied to a front. Poland, Germany, swinging all the way back toward the UK. The front is going to drop in, but because we have a front dropping in from here, we have this system off toward the west. That is going to draw in some extra energy. And look at some of these rain totals. England over toward Wales, back toward Ireland, we'll have some spots of 100 millimeters of rain, and then back behind it, the chillier weather, that's going to move in. So let's start here, right? We need to start with this. Iberian Peninsula, heavy totals, 20 centimeters of rain, could be higher in some spots. Big concerns with mudslides, landslides, big concerns with rivers. We're going to see these scenes. This is going to happen Thursday in particular, from the morning to the night. Really heavy rain. Giving you the heads up. That's why I really appreciate you sharing this information with others. Now, let me show you here. Let me start wide, and then we're going to zoom around as promised. Here is that spin I showed you just a minute or two ago. It is here. It is going to draw in this energy. You get these impulses around the main area of low pressure. Look at that. This is Thursday morning, watching this. And then right here, some additional rain close to Scotland, watching some of the rain clipping back. Northern Ireland, some heavier rain, which we'll zoom to in a moment. Now, as we get deeper into the day, here's the problem with this. The rain, it is still in place. The low is not moving much yet. So with that, that rain just starts to stick in place. Then by Friday, this area of low pressure sitting right about here will start to make its move. So you see some of the rain trying to work its way into France, starting to move across. Still watching it in the Iberian Peninsula. But you see this here coming out of Russia all the way through. That's the front. So we've got a spin here and a front right here, and it is all tied together. That's why there's going to be those really heavy pockets of rain. But by the time we get into Saturday, this storm system makes its move. Still more rain back through the Iberian Peninsula. But by Sunday, you see what happens. The area of low pressure starts to move into Spain and Portugal. So additional rain on the move as things start to progress and move across. There's some more of the rain. Then on the north side behind the front, and you can see the snow in through here. We'll have the colder weather that's going to be filtering in. Meanwhile, I'll keep an eye on this as we work our way into some additional videos. So if you're subscribed, I put out the next video, you'll get those notifications when I put out that next video. Now, let me zoom around as promised. This here is our Thursday morning. And you see tied to the front, Estonia, Latvia, some rain. Sweden, Norway, either a cold rain or snow showers. Heavier rain, though, right in through here. I mentioned Northern Ireland, watching near Scotland. And then by the time we get into a Thursday afternoon and evening, more of the rain settles. But this is what happens as that area of low pressure makes its move. The front kind of gets stuck and even builds back. So we have the front, but this spin over here, it's tied together. That means substantial rain. Parts of Ireland, Wales, and England, even the Netherlands and Belgium at times, we could get some downpours. And watching some of the rain, Denmark, Poland, Germany, as we work our way into Saturday, that's the front right there. Just some spotty showers, but with that, colder weather starting to work in behind the front. Then we swing to the south. Here's that spin sitting right here, and you see some of the reds, the yellows, the oranges. That's the heavy stuff, the intense rain. Watching that Madrid to the west right through here. Look at all that rain throughout the day on our Thursday. Again, I really appreciate you getting the word out, because this is exactly what's going to happen as we work our way into our Thursday with the flooding. And then while some of it breaks apart and starts to make a move, right, there's still additional rain that will lead to more flooding concerns. But then you see some of the rain, spotty Valencia north, and then kind of pushing off. This is the front up to the north. By the time we work our way into the weekend on Saturday, more rain across the Iberian Peninsula. Maybe not as intense, but it just adds to the flooding concerns. But here's the system finally making its move in. But what happens as it starts to move in, well, everything's got to kind of go with it. That all makes sense. So we're going to see that rain working across, even toward getting closer to the Balkans, but especially Austria, back towards Switzerland, Italy, some heavier rain swinging in here, watching parts of France. So we still have the rain though over here. This is on Sunday. We're still dealing with some additional rain as this area of low pressure moves in. But then we see again some additional rain over here, higher terrain, of course, dealing with some snow. And where we're getting the rain, a lot of times it's a cold rain. Now, back to the north where we have that front that settles in. You can see anywhere from Amsterdam swinging all the way back toward Falmouth. You can see some totals that will be pushing 100 millimeters of rain. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'll be watching your comments. Let me know what you get or don't get. This is not completely unusual for this time of year. Again, we get fronts around, but what is a problem is the intense rain. That, no doubt, which happens sometimes, is a huge concern. You see these reds popping up, as we talked about, upwards of 20 centimeters of rain on top of what we've already had. And then this is going to progress. Now, this here, the 3-day totals through Saturday, but I mentioned on Sunday, we're going to see even more of this rain kind of sweeping across. So we'll eventually see some of those higher totals. Then we lift to the north, and what you can see it right here clearly. This is generally where that front is. Russia, Belarus, Poland, back through Germany, and this is where it kind of gets stuck and why we have more rain, because of the spin over here, just kind of enhancing things. Showery weather elsewhere, and watching out for some snow, of course, in our northern zones. And as I mentioned, the higher terrain, looking at that current snow pack, of course, that line, that snow line, has been drifting a little bit more to the south, elevation-wise dropping as well, and then latitude-wise dropping more to the south. So we'll keep an eye on that as that colder air continues to work in. So the large spin will finally start to make its move to the east, but that means additional days of rain, areas of extreme flooding, heaviest the Iberian Peninsula, and then that cold front kind of getting pulled down and that cold air on the backside of it. So I'll be going through your comments over the next few days. Please be safe with the flooding across the Iberian Peninsula. Let me know if you don't have a whole lot, or if you do have some substantial rain or snow or colder weather. Keep me posted as we swing through the end of the working week into the weekend. I really appreciate you being part of this weather community. Be safe and have a good rest of your day.